Um, Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Cadet Smith, first name just Cade. And this is the first segment of a new series we're starting called Aim High Nationwide, where we interview other detachments, cadets at other detachments, and talk about our ROTC experience with a specific topic in mind. So the specific topic we'll be talking about is team building, and we are here with some cadets from Ohio State University. If you guys would like to just introduce yourselves, name, major, given AFSC, and maybe job in your detachment as well.
Sweet. I'm Sarah Long. I'm a 400 security and intel major. My AFSC is pilot, and my current job right now is in the ops squadron. I'm an IMT flight commander.
And then my name's Aaron Boland, also at Ohio State, majoring in aviation management. I'm 400 as well. My AFSC is pilot. I'll be heading to Vance in July as of right now. And I am currently the cadet wing commander.
Nice.
All right. Josiah.
Cadet Josiah Yasso. I'm currently a business major. Kind of going for like combat system operator, maybe Wizzo as well.
Awesome. And I'm Cade Smith, AS 200, and my desired AFSC is pilot, and I'm majoring in Arabic and neuro and cognitive science and classics as well. Yeah, this segment was started with Cadet Lamardo last semester, but we're kicking it up again in the spring semester. It's great to have you guys. Thank you for being here and for giving us your time. We're going to kind of start off with just getting to know like your detachment a little bit. I know for us, like we have kind of a particular way of doing stuff. We're very proud of our culture at the Wildcat Wing. Our commander's doctrine is like positive, supportive, disciplined, and we all adhere to that very much. And we have a lot of events that go on, I think, every semester that are really just like kind of scream either Arizona or like Wildcat Wing. When I think of us, I think of like we have Battle of Arizona, which is like an athletic competition. We're very serious at like PT, stuff like that. So I just want to like give you some space to talk about your detachment. Are there any like kind of like debt isms you have, any like special events you guys do every semester?
Um, I think the biggest like piece of culture at our det is a lot of, I don't want to say like competitiveness, but it's like a healthy competition
Mhm.
between each other and just like pushing each other to be better. Also, there's a pretty big emphasis, I would say, on physical fitness for sure.
Yeah, physical fitness and orgs at our det
And
are really
orgs,
big.
yeah, like involvement with stuff. We also have something called Battle of Ohio, Boo, which is like an athletic competition between all the debts in Ohio. And then because we're so close to Wright Pat Air Force Base, we have the opportunity to do like the Air Force Marathon every year, the Norwegian Foot March, and like base visits. We even did a like a ride along in a KC 135 last spring, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
A lot of big Air Force connections because how close we are, right, Pat, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing for us with Davis Monson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Were you guys at the marathon this past year? Because I know we had some cadets organize like a little ODT out there back
Mhm.
in September.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Um, yeah, well, that's awesome. So we can, I guess, kind of just like go into team building now. So for our detachment, we have a theme every semester. Our theme is team building, so that works out. Um, and we kind of learn in okay, we call it MLA. I know some people call it air class or like just AS. Everyone has a different name for it. But in our ROTC lecture, you kind of learn about like the stages of team building, norming, storming, performing, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's pretty prevalent in ROTC for Josiah and I. Like we're in our semester before field training, so we're definitely kind of experiencing the pressure and just like how do you build a team, how do you operate in a team and become effective and really just like get the mission done. So, what are like some ways, I guess, that you guys have done team building, participated in team building in your detachment at field training or anything like that? Anything that stands out to you?
I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
this one. Learn your people. Like officers always say that, and I think especially at field training, that's where I really saw it.
Mhm.
I was able to learn people very easily at our detachment because a lot of the kids have the same background as me, coming from up like and being raised in Ohio and have somewhat similar backgrounds. But when I like showed up at field training, there was 3 prior Army guys, 2 prior Air Force. One guy was in his 30s, like about to get married, and I'm just like here, like 19 years old, and like what? So I think being able to get to know them and like what matters to them helps build the team. So when you guys go to do work together, it makes it that much easier. And if you actually care about learning about them, that's an amazing start, I think.
Yeah, I think AFROTC in general is just a lot of team building. Like for us, we have a pretty big class. Like for our detachment, there's 25 of us, I think.
Yeah.
So we got pretty close, I would say, our 200 year. And you could definitely tell the difference just in training, how much better we would work as a team, even during GLPs and just during training in general, just because we knew each other and we were closer. And then I think going to field training just kind of made me realize I was nervous about being in a flight of like 15 new people that I'd never met and having to work with them right away. But I was surprised at how easy it was, just how much ROTC had already prepared me for being able to work with new people, just the leadership training. But I think it is definitely a big element of ROTC in general.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Josiah, do you have anything like to add or?
I'm just because guy like you guys kind of hit all the points. Like I've definitely seen like the team building and like getting to know your people a lot. Like I started as a 150, so like my main thing was kind of to show up and show out. So I didn't really have much time getting to like know each and every one, and it kind of like it showed that I struggled a little bit with the flight dynamic just because like I was working more on like getting my drill down, my warrior knowledge down. But then come my 200 year, I was more on like getting to know people, making sure like I was there and that I was like able to help them as well as like being able to like accept feedback myself. So like my 200 or my second semester, I guess, was like my better semester just because I was able to actually use that team building more rather than kind of like focusing like on me almost. So I definitely see how, or like I can see how getting to know your people can go like a long way.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it kind of just like streamlines the process a lot of the times in ROTC. I feel like when I look back at my first semester, I'm like, wow, I had no idea what I was doing. And you kind of feel like I actually always say that my first semester was my hardest semester of ROTC. That might change by the end of this semester. But because it's like, you don't really know what you're doing and you're in this like completely new environment. And for me, like I have no military family or anything, so the whole thing in general was new. So like entering into this team where it's like, oh, I'm calling like people sir and ma'am, like even that was weird. So, but like once you like kind of learn how to do it and you get to know the people around you, it definitely like becomes a little bit easier to fall into a particular role and know everybody else's role, their strengths and weaknesses. I know Josiah and I were in a flight last semester and we're both like very different leaders, I think. But by the end of the semester, we kind of like understood that and we were able to like really work together in our team to get things done effectively with our specific skill set. Um, but yeah, you guys like mentioned field training. So kind of like getting thrust into that new team, was there a lot of like conflict, a lot of that like storming at field training, or was it a lot of just like building the plane as you fly or whatever the term is?
Building the plane when you're taking off.
Yeah.
I think for me, there wasn't really a whole lot of storming. I've definitely heard people like who did not have.
I had that for like a solid week. My flight was great, but there was a lot of storming in like the first 5 days. And there was one guy who I believe he was a prior tech sergeant. He like completely shut us down and like was freaking out on the flight, like, and kind of put everyone in their place. And that was like what we needed at the time. But there were a lot of strong personalities. When you have that many strong personalities that always want to be right in one environment, which tends to be a lot of ROTC cadets because we're very like strong personality people. I feel like a lot of people tend to be type A that chooses program. A lot of people knocking heads, and that makes the storming process a lot more prominent. So I think the quicker you work through that, though, it's necessary, I think, for a team to go through that, whether it's like actually like bicker fighting or like kind of like subtle, I don't really agree with you. But either way, it benefits the team, and the quicker you get through it, I think it helps in the long run.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just kind of inevitable, I think,
Yeah.
at some point, even if it's not storming on a big scale, just
Mhm.
little disagreements. And I mean, especially at field training, you're up at 3 a.m. and you're going to bed super late. So you're tired all the time. You're out in the heat.
Mhm.
It's just easy to get really irritable and kind of annoyed with each other. But even if it's just on the small scale, you learn how to work through it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't know if you wanted to add anything, Josiah.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I'm definitely like when I think about storming that I'm like a little worried about at field training because I know it is kind of like a lot of you have to like figure it out quickly. Um, but even like in my current flight, I feel like storming is like thankfully it's something that is kind of like resolved on its own, but that probably just comes with like knowing your role and like kind of knowing the people around you. Um, but I think it's like it's almost necessary. Like when I look back, I think every flight I've been in so far in ROTC has had that like storming phase, and it's also like one of those kind of like fond memories, of like, oh, I remember when like we used to hate each other, not literally, but butt heads a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and look how far we've come, sort of thing. If that makes sense at all. But
Yeah. Character building.
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's
I
like
think you're probably the same way, but I don't give into the storm. I think the biggest thing, like, and would be my recommendation for field training is not to sit there and bicker with them because that's what my flight would tend to do, and I
Mhm.
would just make myself credible. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as far as like in kind of tying in that team building, like building trust with your people, as long as you're credible and they see, oh, this person's performing well in their individual events, I trust you. That'll kind of cut down on the storm, and they'll just start to kind of follow your lead,
Mhm.
and it will help the
Yeah.
team as a whole.
There is definitely a tendency to just make yourself really loud and always have something to say because I think sometimes that's the connotation of being a good leader. But in reality, when you're at field training and just ROTC being a leader in general, the more you know your stuff, and like she was saying, the more credible you are, people it might take longer, but people will realize that. And that's gonna help the team versus feeling like you always have to be proving that you're right or that you know more than someone else or feeling like you have to interject and say something.
Yeah, kind of like a big thing we are like trying to work on at least this semester is a lot of followership as well. Like I know that's one thing I struggle on is just being able to kind of like sit back and let someone else take the reins. Like I feel like you said, I always have to like butt in and like give my input, like or like what I have, like maybe like how I lead is better. But like a
Mhm.
big thing is to let them do their thing and then just be there for help. Like if you see them stuff, maybe provide like a little feedback and be like, hey, this is how like I would do it. So um yeah, just working on that followership and overall kind of like sitting back and like again letting them someone else take the reins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said about credibility as well, because I think as somebody who is like quieter myself, it was hard, especially in my first semester, and this is one of the reasons why I say it's my hardest semester in ROTC, is it's like hard to get over the loud equaling good leader thing at
Yeah.
first, because you don't really know anything, so you don't have like the skills to prove you're like a competent cadet or anything like that because it's your first semester. But I think it's really true that like command presence doesn't really mean like loudness. It can like help get people's attention and all that, but it's definitely more so being consistent and being knowledgeable. That's something that like my deputy flight commander and I have talked about like this semester. And I'm definitely excited to see how that plays out in field training because I've noticed like even in my flight right now, like I tend to like gravitate when it comes to like command presence or just like listening to people, trusting people, I always go to the ones that I know perform the best first, regardless of their actual like loudness. So that's a good point to bring up. And on like Josiah's point as well, like when somebody is maybe like struggling a little bit, I think yeah, like learning how to help them without taking over, whether that's like taking them to the side, not like saying it in front of the whole flight, um, or just, providing feedback, or sometimes just letting it play out if that's how it has to be. Um, Definitely, yeah, balancing that followership and leadership.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything else to add on that?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
Well,
So yeah, Josiah, do you want to get into the next question?
yeah, so we're kind of like more of like getting on like a little more personal, like a little kind of getting away from like the more like detachment based stuff. So kind of like, do you have any moments or memories that you guys are like really fond of, or like you just find like really funny or stuff? Like when you look back, you can like chuckle about it.
Oh man, that one's tough.
I think it's hard to pick one. I think in general, when I think about just funny moments in ROTC, a lot of them are during 200 year
Yeah, that's
because
true. That's
you're
true.
getting closer with the people in your class. But it's also one of the more intense years because you're getting ready for field training. So everything's
Yeah.
funny and it's always at a time that you can't laugh.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know about a specific example, but there's just so many times that you're there like with your buddies and you're getting chewed out by a POC for doing something. And it's just you're just in your head like, wow, I'm gonna laugh about this later.
I have one in particular. I don't know that we'll pull anything beneficial from it, but during 200's year, we're marching and we're like really close to the stadium. Like the shoe is literally right
Mhm.
across the street from us.
Hmm.
And I was marching with a guide and we were over there for some reason.
Hmm.
And I got the guide unstuck in the tree because the element leader didn't tell me there was like a tree was swooping down and I didn't like catch it and they didn't catch it either. And so they're getting yelled at and they didn't tell me that the guide was about to get stuck in the tree because they're getting yelled at already.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was trying to pull it out of the tree. Then I'm getting yelled at by 3 flight commanders. Super funny, but that was 200 year. I just was like, this is horrible.
Yeah. There was also a lot of times at field training, I think, that were just really funny. I don't know. It's just everything's just funnier when it can't be
Yeah.
funny.
That's what I heard. I heard that at field training you have to like almost sit out in front of your dorm, like your barracks, I guess, and you have to just like stand there at attention, and
Yeah.
you cannot move like or make a face at all. Like I heard someone say that they almost broke their bearing when like their cadre was like walking past them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because we'd be out there like singing the Air Force song and stuff, and you're always lined up right
Straight
across from
towards-
someone.
Mhm.
So once you make eye contact, it's game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Don't laugh during taps though.
Yeah, don't laugh.
Yeah,
tap.
don't laugh during taps.
I mean,
You're not
that's-
funny.
That's just
Everything every other time is funny, but like when people are laughing during taps, I would actually get so aggravated. I was just like, please stop.
like just
It's
laugh.
already been a long
It's
day.
taps. Like just yeah,
Yeah.
definitely don't laugh during taps.
What about you, Kay? Did you have any funny or fun moments you had?
I'm trying to think. I do remember this isn't my story, and I won't name the individual, but I remember someone in our detachment told me that they got like, is it a 341? Is that like the field
Yeah.
training verbal, basically?
Mhm.
But they got like one of those because they were at attention and someone like passed gas, and then they started laughing.
Yeah.
341.
Yeah.
Oh, because they
And
broke
they
a
broke,
bearing.
yeah. And then another one got a 341 for not putting a 341 under their pillow. Um,
Oh, yeah.
which is pretty funny to me. But I don't know. When I think of like, I don't know, I can't think of like any like particularly funny moments, but it is a lot of those like you're marching and like, I don't know, just like something happens or I think some of my more fond memories are probably at our like dining in events we did.
Yeah.
They're pretty like our first one we did like a combat dining in, so we were all like, dressed pretty cool. And it was fun because that was like our end of my first semester, so it was just nice to actually see everybody in like an informal setting. But yeah, you guys do like dining in and stuff, right?
We just had dining out this past weekend, but
Okay.
we
Yeah.
don't have.
I don't know
We
dining
tried to
out.
pull off a dining in, but then the senior kind
yeah.
of dropped the ball and became a lieutenant before we could do it. So
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
we have yet to do a dining in, I guess.
Hopefully we do.
Yeah.
It sounds
We have a
fun.
lot of other things like morale events and stuff that I guess you could say would like go hand in hand,
Yeah.
but they've just never been called a dining in. So
Mm.
Gotcha. What are some of like the other morale events you guys do?
We do.
field day one we did with like pizza
Yeah.
and like hot dogs and stuff and hamburgers. We had like a big park
Field
across the
day.
street from the debt.
Sometimes, well, when we were GMC, our cadre used to do, I feel like they do this a lot, where they just have like cadet like dinners or like,
Oh yeah, they'll
I
just
don't
make
know.
us dinner.
Yeah,
and, like
or
bring
like a chili cook-off or something. Like
Mhm.
they just bring in food for like all the cadets, and it was just really nice. I don't know, team building right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the only other thing I could think of would be like FLX.
Yeah,
That'd be
FLX
fun.
is fun, like paintball stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of debts do that.
We have like ice skating in a few weeks.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because one of our
sounds
cadets
fun.
works at the ice rink, so we got us
Oh, yeah.
locked up. The deputy wing commander has some
Okay.
connections.
Yeah,
You gonna
Yeah.
gonna give Alyssa Liu a run for her money?
I
That
wish.
gold medal.
Wish. If I can get away from the wall, that would be a win.
Hit that quadruple axle, you know. Yeah, okay, so I guess like going more into like cadet talk stuff. Do you guys have any like sort of like tips or advice for new cadets, people like balancing ROTC with college? Anything along those lines?
My my biggest tip is separating your personal at home stuff from your work, ROTC, school. For me, I can't study in my room or like even the house. I try not to. I'll always go to the library or like a coffee shop or just somewhere on campus. And it makes it a lot easier to just stay organized in my head and kind of separate my relaxation time from when I need to be, on it. And that just makes it easier to chill out when I'm home. So you definitely can't let, because ROTC's a lot, so you can't let it overtake your life. You can be really involved, but you just have to make sure that you have boundaries, and it's just gonna make your life a lot easier.
For me, I use a calendar. At the beginning of the week, I will plan everything that needs to happen ROTC and week wide. And like school wise on Sunday. So I know exactly what every day is looking like before the week even starts. And I think that's so helpful, especially being ROTC cadets. Things pile up and you tend to say yes to too much, like a lot more than you can do, especially when you're cadets that want to perform well. So things build up. And then this is kind of a different take on it, but lean on your people and like the cadets that you're in class with. Like if you guys take the same class, go study together. And then you guys can complain about training, especially as GMC. There's always something we want to complain about. Complain about training and then just study and stuff like that. I think it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
To get both of them done.
I think if I were to give advice to like a new cadet or someone who's thinking about joining ROTC, the biggest thing that I would say to them is kind of what we were talking about earlier, just with loudness not equaling a good leader. I think a lot of people are either interested in the program or they come into the program and they don't think it's for them. Like they just think that they're not cut out for it. But you are. It is what you make it. So there's definitely stereotypes of what a good leader is or a good cadet, but it really is what you make it. You can push through that and find your own how you are as a leader. There's not like a cookie cutter way to do it. So yeah, I would just say know your stuff and the rest will kind of fall into place.
The loud leaders, I would say, usually tend to be the most disliked at field training as well.
Yeah.
Because they tend to not be very credible in the long run. They're very outspoken, but they really don't know their stuff at the end of the day. And then, like, we had a case with a person in our class, she always knew her stuff, always knew warrior knowledge, like every last thing. You'd ask her a question and she would know. But no one ever, like, really saw her, like, sprout out. But then in her POC years, one of the best cadets ranked at least top 3 in our class. consistently, because people just quickly found out that she always knows her stuff, and if you need anything, you can go to her. You know what I mean? So she wasn't always outspoken, didn't need to stomp on everyone. She would help people behind closed doors, help them get better, and then people were quickly like, "Oh yeah, this is our home. This is our homeboy. This is a person we want. This is a wingman we want." You know, team building again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team building.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So then kind of sticking on that, are there any like talking points you guys would like to discuss? Like anything, like any like other than like balancing life, but like any tips that kind of help you guys like throughout your AFROTC career?
Always, for me, always put more on your plate and figure out a way to do it. Because I would have regretted. I'm taking 19 credit hours right now, and I big time would have regret if I didn't run for wing commander. And I did, and I got it, and I'm so glad I did, because I'm managing time. You can always figure it out, you know. Do it, and I think this especially is making me a better officer in the future, because now I'm getting to talk to and manage a lot more than I would be just doing like a support job since my last semester in the program. And I already have my job and everything. I really don't, I guess, need it on the resume, but I wanted it, and I'm glad I did it. So
yeah,
always put more on your plate than you think you can handle, and you'll be able to figure it out. Especially us cadets, you'll be able to manage.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, don't close any doors for yourself. Just take every opportunity that you can, take advantage of everything, say yes to everything. If there's something you really want to do, but you're kind of apprehensive about it, just do it. If it doesn't work out, you learn something from it. But I think I also joined as a 150, and when I came in, I was the first semester of ROTC, I was just so scared of everything. I hated going to training. I was so anxious. And if that semester of me, I think, could see what me and everyone else in my class has done over the last 3 years, I mean, she would not believe it. So definitely just don't close any doors for yourself, because you never know what can happen.
True. I'd say heavy on that. I feel like my first 2 years, so I started ROTC in my third year, and when I think about like my first 2 years versus my last 2 years of college, I'm like, my first 2 years were boring. Like, I mean, it was like cool, like college fun, whatever. But like when I started AFROTC, it was like, oh wow, like there's so many opportunities of like one, I feel like you get like a kind of a family of your own. But there's so many like things to do. Like and like I know there's a lot of like ODTs. I mean, Sarah, oh, by the way, I don't even think I mentioned this. Sarah and I went to Morocco together, for those who don't know. Studying Arabic. And that was a really cool opportunity. I think we're like the last cohort out of Project Go, sadly.
Yeah.
But I mean, fully funded summer in Morocco to like go study Arabic, heck yeah. Um, so definitely like yeah, heavy on that. Do not close any doors. I will say one door I wish I didn't I wish I left open a little bit more was my AFOQT, because when I first took it, I was like, I don't want to be a pilot. And I just like ran through the rated sections, and then now I got to retake it, and I got one chance left. So yeah, don't close any doors. Study for everything. Sign up for everything. Boom.
Definitely study for everything.
Yeah.
The AFOQT, that like don't let that stuff be what gets you, you know. That's
Yeah.
like that's control for sure.
Time yourself out right too. I know a lot of people that only get to take the TBS once, because boards are being put up quick now, and a lot of people only got to take the TBS once. A lot of people, me, I was one of them.
Same.
Luckily, we ended up doing well. We pulled through and got the pilot, but you never know.
Better not chance it.
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I think, well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we kind of wrap up?
I feel like we pretty much covered all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys for being here. This is, like I said, this is our first episode. We're really excited that we're able to even do this. So thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you in the big Air Force in 2 years, hopefully.
Yes.
Absolutely. And yeah, good luck with the rest of your semester and commissioning in May. And good luck in pilot training as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Thanks.
good luck,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.